So, the 2020 race at Darlington has concluded. And it was actually a really fun race. Even if I want to break something, it was still a really good race. Yo, what is up everyone? My name is Jack Ross from NASCAR on NBK. Guys, the Darlington race to 2020 Real Heroes 400 has just concluded. And like I said in that intro, it was a really fun race. Very unpredictable, a lot of comers and goers. But ultimately, Kevin Harvick will come out on top and score his second victory of at Darlington and his first victory of 2020. His road to victory did not come so smoothly, at least the race as a whole had a lot of very interesting moments. So let's start off at the beginning. I said early in the pre-race show that I had a feeling that I would be shocked if drivers would make lap 1 without any incidents. Well, there was an incident. And no surprise here, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was involved. But it wasn't entirely his fault. In fact, it really started with the 00 car of 𝘲𝙗𝙗𝙗. He held everybody up. That caused like a stack up in 1 and 2. And off of turn 2, Stenhouse, who really should have thought a bit more and not try and make 3 wide or even a 4 wide pass in turn 2, hits the car to his right and spins and hits the inside wall to bring out the caution, and that would ultimately ruin his day. Again, it wasn't entirely Stenhouse's fault. You know, that whole situation would not have started if 𝘲𝙗𝙗𝙗 would have just, I don't know, maybe backed off, or, you know, if he was on the inside lane, just go to the back. Because you have to understand, that race was the first time that 𝘲𝙗𝙗𝙗 has ever raced at Darlington, and I mean, come on. I mean, you knew that there was going to be some issues, specifically with drivers that have never raced at Darlington. I mean, at least with Cole Custer, John Nemechek, and Tyler Reddick, at least they raced at Darlington in the Xfinity Series. They've had some experience, even though they have not raced in the Cup car before. They've had some experience. 𝘲𝙗𝙗𝙗 never raced at Darlington, so that's what you get when you take inexperienced drivers that should not be in the car instead of experienced drivers like Landon Castle. I'm just saying, hey, alright, moving on. So after that little incident, we actually got some real racing. Brad Keselowski started on pole, was leading the way through, and then you saw Hendrick show their muscle strong in the early stages of this race. Harvick in second, then you had Jimmie Johnson in third. Now, we'll get to Jimmy and the Hendrick drivers later on, but they really showed some muscle early on in this race. Now, one driver that I expected to be up front was Kyle Busch. He was originally supposed to start third in this race. However, he had to start at the back end of the field due to him failing pre-race inspection multiple times. But anyways, that whole period after that first caution came out from lap 2 to lap 28, 29, nothing really happened. It was still single file racing. A lot of good racing, but just nothing really exciting to see. Now, lap 30, a competition caution came out, and NASCAR did the procedure where 2 separate groups would pit, and whenever the drivers, they did pit and did their services, they would not lose their position. So around lap 45, Brad Keselowski was out in front, but then Alex Bowman and Jimmie Johnson just charged to the front as Bowman and Johnson both passed Keselowski to make it a Hendrick 1-2 run. And then with 7 laps to go in stage 1, Jimmie Johnson then out of nowhere just found something and managed to chase down Alex Bowman and pass Bowman for the race lead. Looked like through that green flag run, Alex Bowman used up his tires too much. That allowed Johnson to close in, and Johnson was able to pass him. And it looked like that Jimmie Johnson was going to win his 3rd stage of his career. But on the final lap of stage 1, this happens.
Much of those tires, not building those air pressures up too much, and he's also, Jimmie Johnson going around.
Into the wall hard.
Unbelievable, our leader.
Okay, let me tell you something right now. When I saw that happen, I'm not even lying to you, I wanted to break something. I was like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, I was so gassed. I was so happy. I was like, yes! Today, at least just have a good run. That's all I asked for. Just a good run. Or even better, a stage win would be even better. I thought, oh my god, yes, he finally might win a stage. And I know, oh my god, stupid lights are going out. And I know with what's been happening, whenever Jimmy gets good, something always happens. So I was holding it until the final lap. I was like, okay, he's got stage 1 win. Let's go. And then that happens. Look, it was Jimmy's fault. No doubt about that. I mean, yeah, Buescher checked up and Jimmy didn't expect it, but to be honest, Jimmy should not have been that aggressive. I mean, yeah, you got William Byron behind you, but Byron was not going to catch up to Jimmy. He had like a 6, 7, 10th second of a lead on William Byron, Jimmie Johnson had on that final lap. So Byron was not going to be able to catch up to him. So I don't understand why Jimmie was so aggressive, and that ultimately what costed him, who knows, chance at winning, chance at top 5, who knows, but at least it cost him a chance of winning a stage and having a good run. But yeah, just FYI, William Byron won stage 2. But it was Kevin Harvick who got out on pit road ahead of William Byron, as Harvick would then be the race leader at the start of stage number 2. And the hits just kept on coming. First, Jimmie Johnson wrecked, and now it's William Byron's turn. For the back end of Denny Hamlin's camera, William Byron looks like he loses a tire entering turn 3 and smacks the outside wall. Heavy damage to the right side of his car to bring out another caution. And that point, I was like, okay, what is going on? Because it looked like it was going to be 2007 all over again. You had Bowman up front, you had Byron up front, you had Jimmie up front, and then you had Chase Elliott not that far behind in the top 10. And you had the Toyotas who were struggling. I mean, it was like 2007 literally all over again. And then that happens. Byron out, well, not out, but basically out of contention, and Jimmie was out. So that was a whole range of emotions. But at the same time, as much as I hated that, at the same time, it was still kind of exciting because it was very unpredictable. I mean, that whole race, you had to be on the edge because you did not know. I mean, hey, Bowman is up in front, but now you're wondering, okay, is something going to happen? Same thing, is something going to happen with Byron or with Bowman, like what happened with Byron and Jimmie? It always brought up questions that kept you invested that entire race, and that's one thing I enjoyed about today's event. But anyways, back to the race. So restart on lap 115 after that William Byron crash. And this point of the race, you had different drivers come up through the field. You had drivers like Aric Almirola, Tyler Reddick, another driver who really surprised me. He had a really, really strong car here today. Kurt Busch and Joey Logano, he struggled in stage 1. He's now up in the top 10 in stage 2. And another driver that really struggled was Martin Truex Jr. And we're going to talk about him later on in the race. But yeah, again, I love that race. Stage 1, you had drivers up front like Johnson, Bowman, Byron, Keselowski. Stage 2, you had drivers up front like Kurt Busch, Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, and Martin Truex Jr., who came to life later on in stage 2. Every stage had a different story. And that's one thing I really enjoyed about this event. Again, I'm going to say that's a lot. I really enjoyed this race, alright? Every stage had different strategies, different storylines, and it just made it a joy to watch. And then something happened. I'm so laughing about this because it was the strangest few laps I think I've ever seen in NASCAR in quite some time. So I forgot what point during the race, but it was during stage 2. Kyle Busch hit the outside wall in turn 3 and 4. That had the blue emu banner on it. And apparently Kyle hit it pretty hard enough that it rubbed the blue emu banner sticker off of the wall. So now you had the blue emu banner literally sticking out of the wall and onto the racetrack. So much so that Denny Hamlin ran over it and it was stuck right, a huge piece of blue emu banner was now in front of Hamlin's car. And obviously, when you have a big piece like that in front of your car, it was it was near the grill of the car, that's going to overheat your engine. So Hamlin had to very quickly get rid of that. He managed to. But then it went to Tyler Reddick's car, specifically near the right front side of it. Luckily, it did not overheat the car, but it affected the aerodynamic portion of the car tremendously. And it was funny, it was weird, it looked like a weird version of tag, which... This is a conspiracy theory. I'm going to say this. I think the reason why they had that little tag-like game between Hamlin and Reddick was to promote Fox's new show, Ultimate Tab. I mean, come on. You have a NASCAR on Fox, and Hamlin and Tyler Reddick playing a game like tag. Like, here, you take this banner. No, you take the banner. No, you. Here, take the banner. And Fox has a show airing later on called Ultimate Tag. So, I'm just saying. But that later on, just a few moments after that, the caution came out. While there was no reason for the caution, more than likely it was so that NASCAR could send officials to that area in turns 3 and 4 to remove the blue emu banner so that it wouldn't cause any more incidents like that. But and to be fair, it was fitting. It was a very weird day, so obviously weird things had to happen. Now, remember when I said earlier on that Kyle Busch was the one that hit the wall? Well, he had a very up and down day. So he's started near the back, working his way up towards the front. Stage 1, I think he finished in the low 20s even. It felt like he was able to get up to the 20th spot, but then couldn't do anything after that. Then he hit that wall, and then he had to restart 28th. When that caution came out to remove the blue emu banner. And Tyler Reddick had to start near the back of the field due to an uncontrolled tire. And then nothing much really happened after that. Lap 174, Christopher Bell spins off of turn number 4 to bring on another caution, and might I say, Christopher Bell has been a massive disappointment so far this season. I know we're only 5 races in, but I mean, the guy is, at least coming into this race, he was 32nd coming into his race, and more than likely is going to drop because he did not have a good race here today. Compared to how good Matt DiBenedetto was last season at Leavine Family, I mean, again, too early to say anything, but so far, looking like a bust, at least from the first half's perspective. I mean, Christopher Bell, I mean, we had so much hype, so much expectations for Christopher Bell coming into the Cup Series, just based on how dominant he was in the Xfinity Series, and to see him 32nd in the points, not so good. And this is Leavine Family Racing. They're not to the likes of Joe Gibbs, but we saw what Matt DiBenedetto did with the 95 car. Hell, he almost won last year at Bristol with that 95 car. So we know that 95 car has potential to do well. And to see Bell not perform up to the standards that we expected him to perform, it's truly been a disappointment to say the least. But nothing really much happened after that, and Brad Keselowski will go on to win stage number 2. Keselowski had a really good car. I was very surprised to see that because Keselowski has not been, I won't say he hasn't been good, but he's right now, he came into this race 10th, tied for 10th in the point standing, so he was not up to par with his teammates Ryan Blaney and Joe Logano, but surprisingly, Brad Keselowski had the best car, at least from the Penske shop. Christopher Bell will then have another incident on lap 213, where something, I don't know what happened, we didn't get a full view of it, but for some reason on the front straightaway, Christopher Bell was on the back bumper of Chris Buescher, and I don't know if he hit him wrong or what, but Busch just went to the right, and Busch hit the outside wall. Pretty good concept with the front end of his race machine to bring out the second to last caution, what it would be. And then a long green flag run takes place. You had Alex Bowman, Martrix Jr., Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, and Brad Keselowski, the top 5. And it looked like, okay, this is going to be a nice run. Who's going to be able to conserve their tires a lot more? Obviously, you know how good Hamlin is at conserving tires. I looked at him as being the better of the other 4, at least in the long run. Truex also, I thought, had a really good car and could be in the mix because he came to life, specifically in a long green flag run. But just as soon as I expected to see, a green flag run is going to take place, specifically, you also have some newcomers like Tyler Reddick, who's moving his way back towards the front, and Kyle Busch, who hit that wall near stage 2 and restarted back in 28th. They were both moving their way up to the top 12. And just as I thought we were going to have a long green flag run, 4 to go, final caution would come out with Ryan Newman. He cuts a tire and spins in turn 1, which in my opinion, that should not have been a caution. I don't know why that was a caution. I mean, it's not like Newman had an incident like Bowman or Byron. And Byron hit the wall and spun, and you can see there was a lot of damage. So it made sense to bring out a caution. With Newman, I don't know why there was a caution. I mean, he spun, but he spun like halfway and kept on going right after that. It wasn't like he spun and stopped. He still kept going. So I don't know why there was a caution. I'm not going to say anything, but let's just move on. All right, shall we? Restart with 37 laps to go. Nothing much would happen after that. But with 27 to go, Kyle Busch, who was in the top 10, he had to pit for a loose wheel. So it was just a tough day for Kyle Busch. He had a car to beat in the top 10, top 5, but just stuff kept on happening. He had a very up and down day. And ultimately finished, I forgot where, but he would finish, I think, 1 or 2 laps down. And that was it. Kevin Harvick will go on and that was basically it. Alex Bowman was in second. Kevin Harvick was way out in front. And Kevin Harvick would win his second race at Darlington. And just some notables of other drivers that finished in the top 10. 9th place, John Hunter Nemechek in his first start at Darlington. And a front row car comes home with a 9th place run. Fantastic effort for him. And also, it was really a pretty good day for the rookies. Tyler Reddick was really strong. Finished 7th in that race. Hunter Nemechek finished 9th. Cole Custer was strong early on in that race, but ultimately would fall back to, I believe, near the top 15 area. And driver that finished 10th was Matt Kenseth. You know, for a driver that only had 15 minutes in a simulator of the new package, or the 2019-2020 package, he was really good. I mean, kept his nose clean, did not get into any trouble. Came out with the top 10 finish in 10th spot. Very good effort for Matt Kenseth. Congratulations to him. And ultimately, congratulations to everyone at NASCAR that participated in this race, getting it all together. I mean, I was proud to be a NASCAR fan today. It was also really cool to see some new people that never watched the sport get into it. It was very awesome to see that on Twitter and social media. And yeah, there are new fans that are watching this. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this race, because there's going to be a lot more where that came from with this Wednesday, the Toyota 500-kilometer race at Darlington, Wednesday at 7 p.m. each time, I believe. Make sure you guys go check that out on FS1. I will, of course, have an Inside the Lines pre-race show. That'll be at 6:30. I want to make sure I want it to be at least half an hour to an hour before race coverage. So make sure you guys be on the lookout for that. Tell me, guys, in the comment section down below, what are you guys' thoughts on this race? We'll give you a like and subscribe more content. And until next time, my name is 𝘏𝙗𝙙𝙖𝙮 from NASCAR on MDK. And I'll see you guys in the next video.